And I'd like to welcome you to the channel. I said I'll be back. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this week. I hope you've been enjoying the videos. Thank you so much for the support there. Most viewed videos here live to show how far the candle pulled back before resuming the price action trend. You just need to be able to count to 10. The price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. Chart scale, I teach you how to read your hard right edge so you don't have to look left. I know had got a comment here, and I hope you were able to view this comment before the market took off on us. But you had talked about them possibly wanting to move higher, and I did say, yeah, they definitely could do that, but they may drop back, and we're going to take a look at that area because they was doing them bodies, them overlapping bodies on that hourly. Again, thank you so much for the support. If you guys would like to, you're more than welcome. Again, I know I got at least two people that came over. Thank you so much for doing that. And so here, this is what Friday was. There was quite a few. I'll go back and show you some of it if I can. But I told them that that bottom was weak when they had turned. That was right about 11 o'clock, and that's what it had looked like. And then, of course, by the end of the day, they ended up coming back. But they ended up, like I said, taking off to the upside. Making everybody think that that's the intent and what they were attempting to do. And so yes, that was down here. Yeah. So yeah, I started again just putting all of these snapshots out there before the market even got going. They came into the zone here and kind of tested it and they kind of leaned over. Right. So you're more than welcome again to come and join us if you would like to. All right, so now let's take a look at the chart because I told you guys they would come back. Let me just blow this up really quickly here. So if you're seeing additional drawings on the chart, that's all it was. It was the social media. I told you it's a lot easier for me to drop something on there versus having to come up here and make a video. I told you in the video, what was it? Thursday, I believe. I think it was Thursday. Let me go back here. let me go back to that. I think it was Thursday's video. I think it was Thursday. No, I'm sorry, it was Wednesday's video. I told you guys that they would come back. Do forgive me, I got a lot going on. I told you that they will come back and get this. And we've been doing this all week. I'm telling you guys they'll come back, they'll blow this pivot, watch out, and that's what creates some of these declines, man. They'll come back. If you would like to learn what's making me say that, then again, I have a private community you're more than welcome to be a part of so you'll know what's making me do this. Keep in mind, I came back after a 2 month break, all right, 2 month break on Sunday of last week to make you aware of, a possible situation developing. And as you can see, they're finding themselves some weakness up here. I'm gonna tell you something else before all of this is said and done about how far the market could possibly move if it want to stay down for the rest of this month. All right, so yeah, we were right here. We were right here, and it didn't want to go ahead and get that target. It only went about halfway, and sometimes that is the case because they were banging their head up against that price that I gave you guys on last Sunday. All right, this was that price I gave you guys on last Sunday, and they got there and just, yeah, stalled out, did them hourly bar overlaps, and then of course, boom, there's that dive, and they ran away from it. So our chart scale couldn't hold up on this one. The last two times it did, but this one it just didn't want to. All right, so it ended up falling down, and of course, here's all of that Friday activity with all that back and forth. First, they went up and they reacted from a signal. Okay, they reacted from that, and then they came up again and kind of hit it again. And then, of course, they leaned down. We had one here, and again, I put this on all the charts because I went on and adjusted, and I even put it in the suite along with some additional indications. If you guys are interested, you're more than welcome to go back and pick up that link. And if you don't have the suite, you're more than welcome to it as well. It's only $100. There's over 300 indicators in there. You're welcome to it. All right. So trying to give you a lot. Okay, that's all. Trying to give you a lot of what I didn't have. Most people were charging 300 plus for an indication one, and I just turned it around. Let me give you 300, and you just give me $100. That kind of makes sense to me. All right, because you got to know how to read price in order to get it to work. All right, so they came back to the signal down here, and then they, jumped out of there. Kind of gave us one. We don't want them closing behind this bar with the circle and the triangle. You don't want them closing behind that bar. So I combined that signal. So there's not a lot of circles on here. So I just combined it and put it on all the charts now. And so they dove into there and they took off. All right, and then they came up here. They had a signal up here. They kind of pushed into it first. Tried to hold this one, just didn't want to blow through it. Then they dropped down. And this was right at that chart scale with the signal, so that kind of worked. They fell in there, and then they ended up pushing through that high. And then, of course, here's the that back, coming back. That's what they do. They ran up there to that high, got really close to it, kissed it, dropped back, hit that chart scale again. Here's the signal, leaned into that, and then they pushed through that high. And now they're back. And again, I said that on that social media platform. So if you want to get just a little bit more information a bit faster, you're more than welcome. Now, on this 5 minute, they reacted to a level. Let me show you that really quickly here. There's that signal there. They jumped up. First, they tried to hold this one. You can kind of see that, but they broke that low and decided they wanted to come up a bit higher. And so they hit that one there, and then they dove down. And here's one coming off that bottom. And I said this bottom was weak. Even though that signal was right there, I knew they were sandwiched in between two. So you're going to get a lot of that back and forth. And they came in with this one. And again, single bar plots. Occasionally, it can be a two bar. All right, just occasionally with this circle. Occasionally. But it's not often. It's mostly a single bar plot here. And then, of course, they pushed up. And then they ran up there. And you got a signal here. They've been playing beneath it the whole time with these big old pop-ups. You had it here. And they ran up there just a tad bit closer into it. And then boom, there's your drop on that 5 minute time frame there. Now the 15 minute, I don't have to reach back so far. It was right here. They tried to hold this one. They really did, and even this one here, they did try to hold that one as well. It came in a bit here. Now this one don't have the arrow, and is a reason for it, but nevertheless, they pushed right through it. Didn't have no problem with it, but then they jumped up, came to this one, stalled out just a bit, went right up into this cluster. It's a cluster of them, center of the scale. Turned it around, gave you one, took these out, and that's really bad because you don't want them closing behind these signals. That's just bad. And then there's the drop down. So this is what you have coming into it. You have one here in case they want to pop up a bit. Now, mind you, I told you that bottom week. So I do believe they're going to go through this. So you got to, again, just trade with a little bit of discretion there. They reacted to this one. I already told you guys to watch this signal here because I said I wouldn't come back, and they may generate more. And they did. They had this one here. They held it on the hourly there for a bit. Even came in one, and then they turned it. All right. And then they went up, hit that price level from last Sunday. Last Sunday. Now, keep in mind, it came back 2 months later just to tell you this information that this price was important. All right. And it was above the market. All right, we've been watching this for a while. It was above the market, and I'll give you some more information. They generated this one here, pulled up to it, dropped down, came into this same signal right here. Same signal. I told you don't want them closing under these bars. It's absolutely bad. And so of course they're coming back this way, and now you got one here. All right, now I put that question mark there because they was rallying on Friday, and I put that question mark there like, do you think so? Really, I don't think that's going to take place, especially with this back here. I already knew that that was a problem. And so they turned the corner here, and now you got one here. So let's see what they do with this one. What is this price? Let's find out what this price is. High 29,398 and a quarter. 29,398 and a quarter. I believe that was right. Let me make sure. All right, so high 29,398 and a quarter. Yes. All right, so I got that right, I believe. All right, so yeah, 39. I gotta make sure I check. I'm getting old. All right, so here we go. So yeah, now we just, if we can, let's keep them beneath here. It's at the center of the chart. Let's see if we can just hold them right beneath this bar here. Don't let them close back above this one. Let's see, can we go ahead and move down a bit. Now, I'm going to tell you where I think they're going. Then I'm going to show you those other additional indications that I put in there that you can pick up with that new one, because I just went on and combined both of those signals and made that circle and put it on all charts, so you don't have to look at so many of them. All right, so they can get down here. This is what we had going on before. We had this going on before. We took a peek at this because I told you there's a little situation back here. They might want to come and test that. I think it'll be bad if they get through here. I do. I actually think that that'll be a bad thing if they come through here. Now, this is what I would say. All right, because I see them trying to turn this corner. It can be now. It could be that they're doing this. Okay, it could be that they're doing that and they'll go back up. It's not to say they can't reach higher. I'm gonna even tell you how far I think they'll go if they want to go up. But I know the sellers are sitting up here waiting on them. They're not going to let them pass. If they're going to turn this market down for a bit, for just a bit, just a little while, they won't let them pass that. All right. At 30,005, they're not going to let them pass that if they want to keep this down for a little bit. They're not going to do that. However, I'm equally want to distribute this information. If these buyers really want to hold this market up, they probably won't let them pass that 27.5. All right, so you got a little window here, and we're going to navigate this week and see what they plan to do. But that's what you got. All right, so sellers going to meet them and stop them from passing 35. Okay, 30,005. All right, and if them buyers are absolutely serious, there's a good chance they'll step in before they even get to that 27.5. All right, so now I framed out what we should be looking like, and again, this may turn into a problem for the rest of the month. I hope not. This may turn into a problem for the rest of the month, but I definitely hope not. All right, let's see if they can turn it back around. Now, for those other indications that I threw in that suite, these are the single bar plots. I even put the rules up here for you so I don't have to dive too far into it. And I'll just scroll through the chart and allow you to see it. They're single bar plots, all three of them. All right, and I just put that in there today. I put that X in there. I think it was on Friday, but I just put this in there so you can double back and click that link below the video on Day Trader Today YouTube channel for my private community. It's under that video there, the last one that I made. You can just double back and hit that link. All right, so single bar plot. Here's the rules for how to actually interact with this stuff. I'm leaving out some information. I am leaving out some information. I can't tell you exactly how to trade these signals. I can't do that. But I gave you just a foundation to go with, and it's pretty simple. All right, so the arrows here, you do not want price to close outside that bar. All right, so with the arrow, the moment the bar closed, the arrow comes on. You don't want price to close outside that bar. All right, this is just bad. It can create a whole nother problem. Will it work all the time? No. All right, just want to tell you that, but you just don't want that to happen. And typically, if it does, they won't get back in front of that bar. Same way with these levels. The same thing. Now, it's levels on the front of the bars. All right, that's the bar speed X. All right, they can initiate a movement, so they can actually get it going. You got one here, and typically it won't close out the back of it either. So don't kid yourself. This bar is important, is all I'm saying. All right, the one with the level, it can create a rotation, as it did. All right. But if they're really going to honor this bar, they won't close out the back of it. They'll just take off. All right. I just want to go ahead and tell you that. Now, if they flip that signal, all right, if they flip the one with the level, just don't let them close back in front of it. Don't let them close back in front of it. So they flipped the signal. They came back up there just to try to get in front of it, but it didn't work and they turned the corner. That's that signal. All right. So I want to make sure that you understand. It's really simple. Don't let it be complicated. All right. Now, the bar colors just management. That's all it is. Okay, it's an indication for management, and if the color isn't available, it needs to show back up. Now you can kind of see wherever there's no opacity, if you will, no opacity, it could potentially become a stop, or they're going to fake you above that bar. That's all, and that's really all you're looking at. So it can potentially be a stop. Okay, so it can be a stop sometimes. Again, the moment that the bar closed, the bar color comes in, and as so when it's not there, is no color. Yeah, it can turn, but sometimes they can fake you just above the bar. All right, so just try to keep that in mind, and it's here and there. It's here and there, and I'll scroll through it just a little bit. Those are the rules. Again, I'll just scroll through this. You can follow along. All right, just follow along. All three things, and I even put the push in there so you can see the push indication when we combine the little arrow and the circle. I put that in there. It's just a circle though. So I put that in there as well. And again, that's a single bar plot. Occasionally, very rarely will it be a 2-bar plot. So I threw that in there too so you can kind of see it together with this information here. And so moving forward, I'll just bring this chart in frame and let you see what it did for 930. That's all. I'll let you see it together. But so yeah, just look at the rules, follow along, and I'll scroll through this back to where 930 was and allow you to see it. So when you don't see the opacity, or if you see the level on top of the bar or on the bottom of the bar, it can become a potential problem. That's all. It can reverse. All right, and I did say that here. So did it reverse and turn around? No, it didn't. It just wanted to keep going. Now, I told you it can initiate a move too. It was here. It was here. It just don't want to close outside the bar. It can take back off. Came in on this bottom. They're going through the back of the bar, closing. That's bad. It can take off. It's just that simple. All right. So you see how they overshot the bar here with the level, but they're not closing above it. It turned around and took off. Here, they got the moving up behind the bar closing. Wanted to close with that little guy right there. It went up some more. Then they got up here and they wanted to act funny. Remember, you don't want them closing behind these bars with the circle on it. You don't want that. That's bad. Here come your arrow. They pulled up to the back of the arrow and then dropped, and they came down. Where did they come to? You got a bar with a circle back here. First, this one held them for a bit. You can see that. Just wanted to hold them really, really still there. But then eventually give you that nasty little dive and chase you out the trade and then take back off. That's what they do. All right. That's what they do, and they're good at it. And so, yeah, so you had the level here. All right. So you had the level up here. They'll try to run away from this high, this bar. All right. So you need them back in front of that. That's all. All right. So really simple is not, again, it's not the best. It's not the best. It's just indications. It's three of them. All right. It's three of them together. You got your bar color, you got your arrow, and you got your level. And then you got that circle. All right. And I'll scroll, like I said, scroll back to 930. Let's go down here, find where that 930 kicked off at here. And then I will let you guys go, and we're going to see what this week brings. All right, so they got this one here. They had the level on top of this bar. They closed back below that high. Okay, it shot up towards that high of that bar. You can see that. They shot up towards the high of the bar with the level. You don't want them closing under this bar. You can see the response came right back up. Got up there, didn't want to get in front of that bar and stay there. And so they begin to work themselves down. Here's a level in front of the bar. They closed above it. Fantastic. Let's go. But then they put a level on this side, and that's bad. And because now they're running away from it, they closed under that bar. Your circle came back in again, pushed down even further. Then they came with the level and the circle. Definitely don't want them closing back above that bar. They did that. It's on the bottom. Here's your circle on the bottom. There's your arrow. They pull down into it. There's your level. They're playing with you. They close beneath the bar. Hopefully it'll stay down, but you got your arrow in. You got that back there. It pushed up higher. There's your level again. All right. Your arrow comes in. Bar closed. Here's your color running it back down. Here's your level coming in. And look at what they did. They're not closing under the bar with the circle. And there's your level again. And then boom, there's the takeoff. All right. So that's that 930. Now again, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of things I can just tell you about price and price by itself. All right, these are just indications, things that I know about price that I try to code into indicators. And this is just three, well actually four, because I put that circle in there. So that's four of them. All right, so that's just four of them I threw in there recently. So you're more than welcome to that information. Again, if you already have the suite, go and pick that up. All right. The goal of the channel is to get you to be able to look at a chart and trade the chart with nothing on it. All right, so let's just kind of touch on that before I go here. If the mid of the bar, I'm on the wrong chart. If the mid of the bar is on this one too, I try to put it on each and every last one of them so you can. So no matter what chart I'm on, you can look at it and know what we're looking for. All right, because it's a reason why I trade. I don't guess at this stuff. You don't want to do that. We want to get the mid above the high. That's all we want to do. We want to get the mid beneath the low. All right. So if that live candle that's moving up and down, if that mid can fall beneath that low, the bar turn red. That's what the color is here. And then it'll turn green. It's not like the color on the other chart I just showed you. Here's the wicks. You want the bigger wick, smaller wick. You want the small body fitting into this body at least twice. Those are the three ways that majority will show up on the chart. The only three ways you'll see price develop on a chart. All right. It's really simple. I don't care what market is. Doesn't matter what time frame. You can do this on any chart, So if you're wanting just to make a little bit more, all right, if you want to make a little bit more, and I tell everyone $99.21, just start right there. That's $2,000 a month. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.